Hey everybody on Facebook Live here. It's amazing what's happening with Facebook Live because there's so many people, so many believers around the world, and they're all doing live videos, and it's definitely about cutting the edge of what's happening because when it takes so many years for someone to write a book and publish it, and then everything to put it all together and get it sold. It's a very slow process, and human history was a very slow process during certain times because you couldn't get the prophetic edge of what God was doing right away. But now in the mercy season, okay, I'll go through. Okay, I believe there's 7 time periods that line up with the 7 letters to the churches in Revelation chapters 2 and 3, right? So the letter of Ephesus is the prophet church. I believe the time period from that is 0 to 100 AD. From the time Yeshua was born until the time when the apostle John died, right? And then 0 to 100 or 100 to 300 AD was the servant, the martyr season, then the Dark Ages, then the Renaissance, then the mission century, then the institutions fighting and building, and then the final 7th season, right? And that's why it's so important to understand the 7 because time, space, light, the gifts, everything in the kingdom has a relation to the 7s. And there's also the 5s and the 9s and then the 3s, right? So we have to understand there's 4 levels of the gifts. There's the shapes, the fivefold ministry, the 7 colors, and the 9 manifestation gifts of the Spirit. And we have a mixture of those different gifts, right? So the way I explain the shapes mixed with the colors is this is just 2 of the fractals, the 3 and the 7. And each shape is, the circle represents the fivefold equipping gifts, the triangle represents the prayer and worship people, and then the king represents the marketplace, the business people. And we're prophets, priests, and kings. We're fivefold ministers, worship people, and business people. And each of the 3 shapes can have. There's actually more than one color. There's a primary and secondary color also. So I'm a prophet teacher mostly, but God's changing my redemptive gift patterns. So I'm going from from a red yellow into a red green when I get more excited and more funny. My comedic acts and stuff like that are all based on the prophet exhorter gift mix. And I'm going from a circle to a square actually in my shapes. And I guess I'm pioneering the first time anyone has ever understood what shapes they were and how to change shape. It's just it's a function, right? The fivefold ministry is the administration. The 7-fold redemptive gifts is the operation. The 9-fold gifts of the Spirit is the manifestation, and then the 3-fold shape is the function. So if you can remember administration, I can't even remember it. Administration, operation, manifestation, function. Administration, operation, manifestation, function, right? Okay. So that's the 4 levels of gifts. So this diagram that I created here, it represents the 4 levels of gifts in one picture, which is basically central to all the foundations of design. Because I had a dream back in 2009 when I started learning this, where 2 people came up to me and they said, God's going to show you the foundational principles of His design. And this is what actually, all reality is bound together by these different fractal number sets. So understanding that, then you can understand how the body of Christ fits together. And I have a lot of different theories about the body versus the bride. I know that the church basically was the mega church movement. There was a lot of people going to church during that time period, but then the fire of God fell on the church, and it was cut back. And we became a remnant, and the remnant of whatever happened with the mega churches and all that is going to be the rib that comes out of the body, just like Adam and Eve, and creates the beginning of the bride of Christ. And I believe the bride of Christ is going to go on. The season of the bride is going to go on for many, many years. So I believe that has to take place because we had the 1517 with Martin Luther is the Circle Revival. 1906 at Azusa Street is the Triangle Revival. So it's, you know, the mind, the soul, then the spirit. And then the Father Revival is what we're coming into right now. The Bridal, New Breed, Father, Love, those all parallel each other. And 1517 with Martin Luther started the Sun Revival. 1906 at Azusa Street started the Spirit Revival. And then between 2018 and 2021, we're coming into the Square Revival, which is the King. And it's actually faith, hope, love. When love is the greatest of all the revivals. So this is a lot of pastors just think this is just another move of God, average, some everyday thing, but it's going to be something far greater than anything that's ever experienced in the last 100 years of the body of Christ in the church. So it's going to be greater than Azusa Street, way greater. So get ready for that. Love you guys. Love you, Letitia. Thanks for watching me. I know you're the only viewer, so it's awesome. Thank you.